Mark Miller thought he was coming home to a quiet house after a long business trip. He unlocked the front door, stepped inside, and felt an eerie echo. The living room was empty. No sofa, no TV, no rug. He ran to the kitchen, no table, no chairs, not even a single spoon in the drawer. He sprinted upstairs to his walk-in closet, heart hammering. Every suit was gone, every pair of shoes, even his underwear. His wife of 10 years, Sarah, was sitting on the floor in the middle of the empty bedroom, drinking a glass of expensive champagne from a plastic cup. "I had a yard sale," she said, her voice dripping with calculated venom. "Everything you own, it's gone, and I made exactly $400. The narrator's perspective. $400? His watch collection alone was worth 20 grand. This isn't a sale. This is an asterisk scorched earth policy. Today, we're looking at the most expensive revenge plot in divorce history. To understand why Sarah turned their $1 million home into a vacant lot, you have to look at what Mark was doing in Chicago. Mark was a high-powered executive. He traveled a lot. But while Mark was closing deals in the Windy City, Sarah was home doing some detective work. She'd found a recurring charge on their joint credit card for a boutique florist in Chicago. A florist she'd never heard of. The narrator's perspective. Rule number 1 of cheating: don't use the joint credit card to buy roses for the mistress. It's not just wrong, it's asterisk stupid. Mark was about to learn that Sarah doesn't get sad, she gets asked. Even Sarah didn't confront him. She didn't scream. She waited until he left for his next trip. Then she posted an ad on every local community board. Total liquidation. Everything must go. No price bigger than $5. Bring a truck. By Tuesday morning, there was a line around the block. Neighbors, strangers, and professional flippers were hauling away Mark's life. His 1960s Fender Stratocaster sold for $3. His limited edition sneaker collection given away to a group of teenagers. The narrator's perspective. Can you imagine the asterisk audacity? People were walking out with $5,000 worth of mahogany furniture for the price of a Starbucks latte. Sarah wasn't just selling his stuff. She was asterisk humiliating him through retail. When the case hit the courtroom, the atmosphere was incendiary. Mark was seeking $150,000 in damages for conversion of property and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Sarah sat in the witness stand looking like she'd just come from a spa day. "I was simply managing our household assets," Sarah told the judge. "We are in a community property state. Everything in that house was half mine. I decided I didn't want my half anymore." The narrator's perspective. "Nice try, Sarah. You didn't sell your half. You sold asterisk his suits. You sold his grandfather's war medals. You sold his asterisk prescription glasses. That's not asset management. That's an asterisk criminal vendetta. Mark's lawyer was a shark." He produced the Craigslist ad. "Mrs. Miller, you sold a $20,000 Rolex for $10. Is that correct?" "It was a used watch," she replied with a shrug. "The market determines the value." The narrator's perspective. The market? Sarah? The market, in this case, was a mob of people in your driveway with $5 bills. This woman's asterisk gall is actually kind of impressive, in a terrifying, don't ever cross her kind of way. The conflict peaked when Mark took the stand. He started crying, actual tears, talking about his grandfather's desk. It was a 19th century heirloom. Sarah had sold it to a guy who said he was going to turn it into a potting bench for his garden. The narrator's perspective. Wait, a potting bench? For a museum-quality antique? That's the moment the judge's face went from neutral to completely asterisk stunned. Even the bailiff looked horrified. The judge didn't take long to reach a decision. He looked at Sarah, then at the list of sold items that Mark's lawyer had meticulously reconstructed from social media photos. "Mrs. Miller," the judge began, "the law allows for the division of property. It does not allow for the wanton destruction of an estate out of spite." Sarah tried to interrupt. She started talking about the mistress in Chicago. She tried to play the betrayed wife card. The narrator's perspective. The judge didn't care. Being cheated on is a tragedy. Selling someone's life for $400 is an asterisk legal liability. Sarah was about to find out that revenge has a very high interest rate, the ruling. The judge ruled that Sarah had acted with actual malice. He ordered her to pay the full replacement value of every item sold, but he went further. Because she had sold heirloom items that were irreplaceable, he tacked on $50,000 in punitive damages. Total bill for Sarah, $210,000. But here is the cliffhanger. Mark's lawyer stood up and made one last announcement. They had tracked down the buyer of the grandfather's desk. It wasn't a stranger, it was Sarah's sister. The narrator's perspective. Wait, what? So the potting bench story was a lie? Sarah didn't sell the best stuff. She asterisk hid it with her family. This wasn't just revenge. It was asterisk fraud. The Payback sale turned into a criminal investigation for asset concealment. Sarah thought she was the smartest person in the room. She thought her anger gave her a license to steal. Now she's facing more than just a debt, she's facing jail time. The narrator's perspective. Mark was a cheater, sure, but Sarah turned a divorce into a asterisk felony. In the end, the only people who won were the lawyers and the lucky guy who got a Fender Strat for $3. So whose side are you on? Did Sarah have every right to liquidate the life of a man who betrayed her? Or is she a calculated criminal who deserves everything coming her way? And if you found out your partner was cheating, would you sell their stuff or just change the locks? Let's argue in the comments. I'm curious to see where the line is for you.